Skin the Harder Way Southern T, back with another EP. Let me make sure that my shit working real quick, y'all. Yo. Okay. Skin the Harder Way Southern T, back with another EP. And today I'm here with some breaking news. Today I'm here with some breaking news. I just got word that Erickson Lubin and Sebastian Fundora are on the docket. I just got news that Erickson Lubin and Sebastian Fundora are on the docket. John Powell Gasol, what's good, buddy? I just got news that Erickson Lubin and Sebastian Fundora are on the docket for March, April. Also, I just got news that Ryan Garcia versus Isak Cruz is also on the docket for March, April. It's also on the docket for March, April. And also with the Isak Cruz and Ryan Garcia news, just as quick as the information came out that Isak and Ryan Garcia could be fighting, more information came out that Ryan Garcia may or may not need a tune-up before his fight with Isak Cruz. So Isak Cruz and Ryan Garcia is on the docket. Uh, and Team Ryan Garcia has came out and stated since then that they may need a tune-up before they go into their fight with Isak Cruz. But I want to start with Sebastian Fundora versus Erickson Lubin first, and then we go get into Ryan Garcia and Isak Cruz. Sebastian Fundora is the number one, ranked super welterweight or junior middleweight, the 154-pound division, super welter, junior middle, however you want to say it. Erickson Lubin is number one. He's the number one super welter. He's the number one super welter or junior middleweight. Can y'all see me? No, y'all can't see me. I'm looking for a good spot in here. Yeah, 6-footer. Yup, the 6-footer. The 6'6" guy from Fundora. The 6'6" guy Fundora jump out. I'm going to start with Erickson Lubin and Fundora. Erickson Lubin is ranked as the number one, super middleweight in the division. Outside of the champions, you got Jermell Charlo, you got Brian Costano, and then after them two who are champions, you got Erickson Lubin, guys like Tim Tszyu, and guys like Sebastian Fundora. In this fight with Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu, we got two of the better names coming out of this division. Fundora is a prospect that everyone seems to be extremely high on. One is Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora is a friendly fighter. He's a guy that that the powers that be, they are trying to get behind. I think Sebastian Fundora is a pretty good boxer, good athlete with a good future in boxing. You know what I mean? He's nothing to sleep on. You know what I mean? A good fighter, rangy. I feel like he could use his range better. You know what I mean? But he's a good fighter, a lot of promise. So I can see why people are so, high on Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora in his last fight, he fought a guy named Sergio Garcia. Sergio Garcia is a veteran fighter. He's also a guy who they say, hasn't proven himself yet. This was both of these guys, Sergio Garcia and Sebastian Fundora. This was both of these guys' toughest matches to their career up to date. Sebastian Fundora has a draw, with a guy named Jamonte Clark. Some people feel like that Jamonte Clark got the win, but the judges ended up, calling that fight a draw. So Jamonte Clark and Sergio Garcia on paper have been Sebastian Fundora's toughest test. And if you're asking me personally, I personally feel like that when Sebastian Fundora steps up in competition, like with Garcia and Jamonte Clark, he struggles a little bit. Fundora is a guy who has a lot of range, but he doesn't really fight with the range that he possesses. He's a guy which you could get stuck, and that is how the taller fighters normally end up losing too. They get sucked into a firefight, or they get sucked into an inside fight. With an inside fighter or a smaller guy who can fight on the inside, kind of like Figueroa and Cool Boy Fortune. You would think that Brandon Figueroa would be the better inside fighter, but in that fight, Brandon Figueroa brought it in on the inside on Cool Boy Fortune, and Cool Boy Fortune was able to, out inside fight Brandon Figueroa. So Sebastian Fundora is kind of along with the same lines as to where he can box, but he likes to get on the inside. He likes to get on the inside, and he smothers, a bit of his work. We saw he he smothered his work against Fundora. I think Sebastian Fundora against uh Fundora smothered his work against Cool Boy Step. I think Fundora also smothered his work against Garcia. I personally think that Fundora lost his last fight against Sergio Garcia, but that's just my opinion on how I feel about it. But he was given the victory. So Fundora is set to face Erickson Lubin in March. This is not a rumor mill. This is something that is factual. This is something that is true. This is something that will be happening, pretty soon. It's something that will be happening pretty soon. Now in this fight, first out, I'm going to favor, Erickson Lubin, especially with Sebastian Fundora not looking so hot in his last performance against Garcia. I'm going to favor Erickson Lubin in this fight, but there's just something for us to be looking out for. Erickson Lubin versus Sebastian Fundora. I'm excited about that. I'm big on Erickson Lubin. I'm an Erickson Lubin fan, so I'm going to be looking out, for that fight. Now we could get into Ryan Garcia, the Ryan Garcia and Isaac Cruz portion of this video. And that's my guy, the Zone Verse, just said. He said, and I mentioned it a little earlier, he said Ryan Garcia said he wants to tune up first before Isaac Cruz. Now Isaac Cruz and Ryan Garcia, have been set for February, March, and just as quick as it was set for February, March, Team Ryan Garcia came out and said, well, we might want to get a tune-up, before we go in there versus, Isaac Cruz. So Sebastian Fundora and Erickson Lubin will most likely be set for March. Ryan Garcia and Isaac Cruz was scheduled for March. But since then, Team Ryan Garcia came out and said that, they need a tune-up. So I guess we can expect Ryan Garcia's year to be pretty much full, with a tune-up and with Isaac Cruz. But let me expand on this Isaac Cruz. And Ryan Garcia, fight for a second. Now, Ryan Garcia is the guy lately who's been doing a lot of, woofing, a lot of pump faking when it comes to certain fights. Now, I do believe that Ryan Garcia is a talented guy. He does have talent, raw talent, speed, quickness, that type deal. But Ryan Garcia is what I would call Ryan Garcia is an underachiever. Ryan Garcia is an underachiever to me because I feel like Ryan Garcia could be doing so much more with as much talent as he has. But instead, Ryan Garcia is just going around here pulling out of fights with guys left and right. Now, I want to believe that this fight with Isaac Cruz is going to happen. But given Ryan Garcia's track record, I personally don't think this fight is going to happen. And I'm not one of the guys who wants, who wants to bash Ryan Garcia. But Ryan Garcia, gives you plenty of reason, to talk about him, to bash him. I need to go buy me a lighter real quick. I'm going to go to the store, buy me a lighter. Now, Ryan Garcia give you a lot to talk about. He's not a guy. He's a guy that does it to himself. So I'm excited about Ryan Garcia versus Isaac Cruz, especially with Tank Davis, just fighting Isaac Cruz in his last fight, which we got an exciting fight. Now, Ryan Garcia has done this before. Fortuna said he was going to fight Devin Haney. Then Ryan Garcia jumped in and, he crept in and stole the Fortuna fight. He never did it. Jojo Diaz said he was about to fight Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia jumped in. And said, I'm going to fight Jojo Diaz. Got to fight Jojo Diaz. Never did it. So Ryan Garcia has a history of, saying he's about to fight guys, even stealing fights from other people, and then not fighting guys. You know what I mean? So when it comes to Ryan Garcia, I'm pretty much waiting to see on Ryan Garcia, Isaac Cruz. But the first word was it's scheduled for April, May. and then literally, and then literally after they said that, Ryan Garcia team came right back out and said, well, we might need a tune up before we go straight into Eastside Cruz. Yeah, I'm about to. I got another video coming up in a minute. Glad y'all folks came through. I'm about to shut this video down and go live from my other video. I just want to come here and tell y'all that to tell y'all that March and April that we could be looking out for Sebastian Fundora versus Erickson Lubin, and also we could be on the lookout for Isaac Cruz versus Ryan Garcia, depending on what team Ryan Garcia does. Let me holler at all my people that came through. Just shout out my guy John Pal Gasol. He said salute to you. Have a great day. Shout out my guy, the Zoom verse. He said Garcia said he wants to tune up first. Dude, scary as fuck. Well, there you go, Zoom. You know what I mean? He did say he wanted to tune up as soon as the fight came through. Shout out my guy, MP. What the fuck? Glad you can make it, my brother. Glad you can make it. Shout out my brother, Jose R. Glad you can make it, my brother. Glad you can make it. Shout out my guy, Ghost. He said Isaac Cruz bodies and stop Garcia. Shout out my guy, the Ghost. Long live Stilo. Yeah, I'm about to drop this video. I'm about to drop this EP. About to bring me up another EP. Make sure y'all come on over to that joint so y'all can keep getting these 70s. Appreciate everybody that came through this joint. If you haven't liked the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll greatly appreciate that. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.